In addition to writing or typing an answer, you may also include graphics or pictures in your answer. In this video, I'll show you a few ways to do that. If you go to the Insert menu in Microsoft OneNote and then select the Picture option, you may insert a picture from a file. So here I'm selecting a particular image from my computer, and that image is inserted into the OneNote. Now, OneNote does not always know exactly where you want to put the image. So you may have to move it. You can do so by clicking on the image and then dragging it into the position you want. The image might also be too large. If you can resize it by using the corners. Using the corners is the best way to resize your picture because it keeps the aspect ratio in proportion. All right, so that's how you insert a picture from a file. You may also insert a screen clip. For example, let's say I'm on the internet and I want to include this picture of a firefly. I'm going to use the screen clip feature of a Mac. PCs also have this feature. You should figure out how to do it depending on what kind of computer you have. I'm going to cut the clip of the screen that I want to insert, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste that image in. Again, the image is not in the ideal spot and it's too large, so I'm going to size it down to the size I want and move it to the place I want to. And of course, in our previous video, we saw that you can use the insert space under the draw menu to give yourself more space and perhaps make the box bigger. In this case, I'm going to make it a lot bigger because you're going to see what I'm going to do next. Now, after giving myself plenty of space here and a nice big answer box, I'm going to include another type of graphic. In this case, it's a graphic that I drew myself on a piece of paper. Perhaps you don't have a computer with a stylus, so you can't draw something in with an Apple Pencil or a stylus, but you still want to include a hand drawing. You may do this by simply drawing something on a piece of paper and then taking a picture of that with your phone. If you take a picture of that with your phone and bring that picture over to your computer, you can go to the Insert menu and insert the picture by selecting the file of the picture that you made of your drawing. You might also have a scan feature on your phone, and in this case, that's what I've done. I drew a picture of a jellyfish, and I used the scan feature, and it saved it as a PDF. There's a printout option under the Insert menu, and that's going to allow me to insert a printout of my PDF file. So when I select printout, I'm going to select the PDF, which is a scan of the image I drew by hand, and it's going to insert it here into my box. In this case, I apologize, it actually inserted it at the end of the file. But what I can do here is I can move these pieces around. It makes two pieces when you insert a PDF. The first is a file, which I have a preview button, and I can click on that to open up a little preview of the image, but also the image itself, which I can also resize and move around. So in this case here, I'm going to resize this image, and now I'm going to move it here a bit. It can be a little bit of work. There we go. Drag it up to where my box is, and I'm going to put my PDF file there as part of my box, and there we go. And if you want, you can take this link to the file, okay, and in this case, I'm going to just do a Control X to cut it, and I'm going to go over here, come over here, and do a Control V to insert it. And now I have my hand-drawn picture in the answer box as well. In this case, it was a PDF file that I inserted. So you have a number of options. I want to mention two other things in this video. The first is scanning a hand drawing is a great way of drawing something by hand, but it's also a great way of writing out calculations. When you try to type out a calculation and show your calculation work, that can be rather tedious to do. It may be most efficient if you handwrite it in using a stylus or on a piece of paper, write out the calculation and then take a picture of it or scan it into a PDF and insert that picture or PDF into your answer key that clearly shows your calculation work. All right, Now that we've seen how to do this, I've just put several things into OneNote here. A couple of graphics in a PDF file. That's a lot of information, and I did a lot of work to do this, and I want to make sure that my work is being synced and saved appropriately so that I won't have an issue when my TA goes to grade my paper. So if I look here in the upper corner, I see the sync button or cloud button, and it shows you the status of this. In this case, I see a little check mark, and it says page saved, page sync, page save, page sync status. So it's telling me, hey, I did this. And if I click on it, it says, yep, sync status is page is saved. It was synced just now. But sometimes you really want to be sure. How do I know it's really made it to the cloud? Well, one way you can do that is simply go to Microsoft Teams. And here I'm viewing this same page in Microsoft Teams. Okay, you can see that this page, which is in Teams, looks identical to the page I was working in the OneNote application. Why? Because the OneNote application, when I made a change, synced it to the cloud went and sent the data over to Microsoft Teams. So sometimes it's helpful to have Microsoft Teams open on your computer, or at least periodically go to Microsoft Teams and check to make sure your work is there. If your work is showing up correctly in Microsoft Teams under the class notebook, then you know your work has synced to the cloud and your work should be in good shape. You can also see a sync here, and it does work both ways. So if I was in Teams and I deleted that photo, it's going to sync right here and said, hey, he's deleted a photo. Let me send that information over to the cloud. It's been synced now, and now if I come back here, the photo is missing. Okay? If I go back to Teams here and do an undo so that the photo reappears, it's going to sync it to the cloud again, and that picture's over here. Now it's back in, and here I can resize the picture. Not the most elegant here, but you can see it resized over here in Teams. That means everything is syncing correctly.